What does it take to shoot in the 60s versus shooting in the 70s? That's what was asked of me recently. You know, I can tell you about 99% of my students or the people on the website, people in the Sam Goulden Clubhouse, everybody's there to break 80 consistently or possibly even to get to scratch. But very few people ask me what it takes to get below that. I can tell you instantly what you need to do in order to break 80. It's the same for every single player. But when we talk about getting past that, when we talk about shooting in the 60s, there's a slightly different measure. So number one, to break 80, it's pretty simple. You've got to get your tee shots in play. You've got to hit about a third of the greens in regulation. You've got to get up and down about half the time. And you've got to two-putt. You can't three-putt. Those are the things that you have to do to break 80. And to do that, you've got to have a consistent swing, blah, blah, blah. Follow the blueprint on samgoldengolf.com. That will lead you to that place where you can break 80. And that's true for everyone because everybody's missing one of these key fundamental elements of their game. But when we're talking about people who want to break 70, it's a different thing altogether. So the three things that everybody needs to improve, to make an improvement or to make a change are, number one, you have to have a proven plan, something that you know works, you've seen it work, and you know it's going to work. Number two, you have to have feedback, and you have to have measurable sort of results to get that feedback. So you have to be able to see what's going on in your game and see where you are sort of in your process and get feedback so that you can maintain your road as you maintain that path down that road as you work on your blueprint or as you work on your plan. And the final thing is accountability. One thing that's almost always overlooked is accountability. And this is true with anything in your life. If you're trying to lose weight or if you're trying to change any habit you might have in your life, it will be much easier if you have a coach or if you have a group of people around you who are all focused on that same thing. But to break 70 and start shooting in the 60s, you have to take that second thing that I mentioned, the measurable goals and the feedback, and you have to go pretty extreme on that. And by extreme, I mean you need to know how far you're hitting it. You need to know how many free approach shots you're getting every single round. So for instance, if you hit your driver on average 275, but 60% of the time it doesn't leave you a clear shot to the green or a reasonable shot to the green. And in order to figure out what's reasonable for you, you have to know your proximity to hole numbers for all of your irons. So you might be a really good long iron player, so you're better off hitting hybrid off the tee and hitting a long iron into the green than you would be hitting that driver, which only leaves you 40% of the time a free shot to the green. So statistics and measurement are really, really important if you want to break 70. So to answer this question, I would say there isn't a formula for breaking 70, except that there is a formula, and it requires another formula. The formula is to break down all your statistics and see where you're losing shots. See what's costing you, because it's not that you can't break 70, it's that you don't because you're throwing shots away. Very few times, I can look back at my career, very few times that I didn't shoot under 70, it was because I didn't have the talent or didn't have the skill. Most of the time, it was mental, meaning I didn't go through a good pre-shot routine or I didn't have a great mind state when I hit the shot, or it was just poor decisions, just not knowing my game, just not making the right play. And you can't make the right play if you don't know what your strengths and weaknesses are. So it's kind of a long-winded answer, and I'm sorry for taking so long to say it, but if you want to break 80, if you want to be a single-digit handicap, pretty simple. Just follow the blueprint that I've set up. That blueprint works for everybody to break 80. But if you want to break 70, you've got to do some serious measurement. You've got to find out where your strengths and weaknesses are in your game, and then you've got to build a game plan around that. And then, of course, as I mentioned, the mental side's that's pretty different topic, different video, but that's going to be pretty important as well. So hopefully that was helpful for you. If there's anybody that you know that might benefit from this video, feel free to share this video with them. And feel free to comment in the comment section. I'd be happy to chat more if you have any more questions.